handle the truth.
Do you know who Billy Joyce is? You should know who Billy Joyce is.
Canadians, Americans, members of the Commonwealth, and patriots the world over, welcome to the show that tells you what they won't, exposing the fake news, conspiracies, and corruption within institutions that govern our lives, and red-pilling the nations one fact at a time. It's Weathering the Storm with your host, Canada's Red Pill, Billy Joyce.
This man is telling you what I've been trying to tell you for the past 18 months.
And that is why I am convinced that nationalism is the existential threat of our time.
See how they did that? I agree that hate is probably the biggest threat on the planet. But being a nationalist doesn't mean you hate everybody else. It just means you love your nation. So they switch it here and they equate nationalists with hatred. The sheeple that are asleep will not pick up on this. They'll regurgitate this. They'll talk about this over coffee at coffee shops. Did you see Madam Secretary? Oh my goodness. Did you see Colin Powell? Oh my goodness. Did you see Hillary Clinton? Oh my God. Oh my God. It was so powerful. It's so true. It's so powerful.
I want to be clear. Nationalism is not the same as patriotism.
No, you see, nationalism is not the same as patriotism. Really? Really? Says who? Madeleine Albright? Hillary Clinton? Colin Powell? Some actress on CBS? And we believe it?
It's a perversion of patriotism.
It's a perversion of patriotism.
Nationalism, the belief system held by those who attacked us, promotes the idea that inclusion and diversity represent weakness.
Now, inclusion and diversity doesn't represent weakness. Justin Trudeau admitted that multiculturalism is a form of entropy. It's a descent into chaos. So nationalism, you can embrace diversity and embrace nationalism. They're not exclusive. I loved Canada as a 10-year-old. And I would say that in Canada, we were much more patriotic, aka nationalistic, than we are today. And in 1980s Canada, there were Asian people, there were Middle Eastern people, there were Caucasian people, there were black people, there were people of every color. And no one had a problem with being proud of being nationalistic. There was no problem with that back then. But then came the age of globalism. Then came the age of, well, it's just one world. The one world order. We need a new international order. Our politicians are on the record saying it. So now they're just not using mainstream news outlets. They're using mainstream television shows to push the globalist agenda.
You can find Billy on YouTube.
That the only way to succeed is to give blind allegiance to the supremacy of one race over all others. Nothing could be less American.
And it's never been about one race above all others. Has it not always been one nation under God? And that's what this is all about. That's what this is all about, is that they don't want it to be one nation under one God. They want it to be many nations under all gods, capital G, minuscule g. They want the fundamental beliefs that built America and Canada and other countries in the West to be eradicated and replaced with the beliefs and the worldviews that cause a lot of these people to move here in the first place. There's no logic to it. Why would you want to move to a country because your country is so horrible, and then when you get there want to impose on the country you're moving to the ideology and the beliefs that created the conditions that were so horrible that you had to move in the first place? Where is the logic there? There's none. But yet I got to turn on the television and listen to this kind of drivel coming from the lips of some fake Madam Secretary on television, while they employ actual politicians to come push the narrative of the left, of the Democrats.
You can find Billy on Facebook.
Patriotism, on the other hand, is about building each other up and embracing our diversity as the source of our nation's strength.
Oh, you mean like President Trump is doing right now? Lowest black unemployment in history, lowest Latino unemployment in history, lowest female unemployment in 65 years, more jobs available than there are people to take them. The stock market is on the rise, the GDP is on the rise. Is that what they mean here by making sure that everyone is propped up? Because that's what Trump is doing. And Trump does very much push a nationalist, populist perspective. So when I look at nationalism applied in the real world and I observe what I can see with my own eyes, what I'm seeing is this nationalist approach that President Trump is taking is working. In spite of what the mainstream media TV shows are telling us.
We the people means all the people.
We the people means all the people. I agree. Not 200,000 refugees from Somalia. They're not part of we the people yet, in my opinion. We the people. When I hear we the people, I think we, the old stock Canadians, or old stock Americans. We the people. Not someone who got here last week. Someone who got here last week, you sit on the sidelines, you let us decide the direction of the country that you decided to move to because you think it's so great compared to yours. So you sit there because obviously you couldn't do anything in your own country to improve matters. So you're going to sit on the sidelines while we decide what's best for our country. And then if you want to adapt to our country, you're welcome to stay. And if you don't want to adapt to our country, you're welcome to leave the same way you got here.
Just go find Billy Joyce. Listen to what this Canadian has to say.
Which requires our unwavering support of a free press, freedom of religion, all religions, the right to vote, and
freedom of religions, all religions. Well, what happens when those religions go against your laws? Should they be allowed? If something is taught inside of a religion that by carrying it out you're breaking the laws of that country, should that religion be really should that religion really be free to express itself however it wants? Should it? And should we as Canadians and Americans, or maybe you're from Great Britain or maybe you're from Australia, should we just sit by and say nothing as we bring in people from all over the globe that have no interest whatsoever in assimilating to our culture and our beliefs and our traditions and, most importantly, our laws? Should we just turn a blind eye to that? Are you going to tell people about Madam Secretary? Are you going to tell people to turn off their television sets and stop listening to the drivel coming from the left? Because that's all the media is. The media, and now I'm discovering it's not just the mainstream media news, it's mainstream media television shows as well, where they're bringing in former politicians to literally fill roles on these TV shows. And they're using the media and everything it does as a means to brainwash the people, as a means to get us thinking that being proud of who we are and proud of our ancestors and proud of what our ancestors built is somehow a bad thing. And I'm not going to let that happen. I'm not going to let that happen. I am not going to let my children grow up in an environment where everything that is traditional Canadiana is ridiculed in favor of customs and traditions that are foreign to the majority of people I know. Now, what you do is completely up to you, but I encourage you, please get the word out. Please get people talking. Please get people paying attention to what it is they're doing and how they're using every aspect of the media to fill our brains and fill our hearts with half-truths and lies. That's all they do. I mean, this Thanksgiving weekend, I got into argument over argument with close family members who are just shut off. They're oblivious to what's going on. They're oblivious to the tactics of the mainstream media. And this is just another example of their tactics. It's another example of weaponizing media. It's another example of the Democrats using the media and the people that they're in bed with in the media to push their agenda and to push their ideology onto us. Nationalism isn't a bad thing. Patriotism is not a bad thing. What's bad and what's dangerous is globalism. And if we don't wake up, it's coming very soon to a theater near you. I'm done now. If you enjoyed this video, you may want to take a look at other videos you find on this page. Don't forget, if you like it, push the subscribe button under this video, and feel free to like and share with all your friends. Follow me on Twitter by following the link on this page. If you want to interact, feel free to post a comment, but please, no obscenities. Thanks for watching. Billy Joyce signing off and reminding you that I'm here to help you weather the storm.